All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Western Region Town Hall. And we have a lot on the agenda, including a guest, Mr. Glenn March, though I don't know if he's not arrived yet. So hopefully he has a lot of great information, and hopefully I've covered that at the other meetings, and hopefully he'll be here for that input as well, and public input. So we'll start with the roll call. Thomas is here. Tim Chiara.
Here.
Linda Alexander.
Here.
Lisa Benavides.
Here.
David Ebby is not. Catherine Perenikima.
Here.
Claudine Pedricelli.
Present.
Everybody's except for David.
Yes.
Well, we can stand. We have a quorum. Let's do Pledge of Allegiance. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we do not have any, we don't have the minutes for last month prepared, or you wanted me to?
We should put it off till next month.
Okay, do we need a motion for that, or?
Yeah, I move to table the minutes until next month.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All approve?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Motion carries. We'll carry that to the next meeting. Next, we're going to do public input, up to 3 minutes. Does anybody want to come up to the podium? Anything that's not on the agenda and that we're not covering tonight, you can speak up to 3 minutes about what you'd like to input about anything. No? Anybody on the council have any input on anything?
Actually, if I could just offer a moment of information about the Clear Lake Gleaners. I can't give the information based on the numbers in May because we kind of trail in keeping track of things at the same time that we're stocking and delivering groceries. However, in April, in a population, Lake County, of about 64,000 people, the Gleaners fed 1,885 individual families, households. That basically represents 13%. And many of you are much more sophisticated than I am in terms of looking at numbers, and those are really gross numbers. It doesn't break down in terms of homeless. It doesn't break down in terms of homebound, people who are being picked up by their IHSS worker. It just basically describes approximately 13% of our population. It should not be terribly surprising to know that that is an increase over 12 months previous in 2024. I can't tell you what the increase is, because it isn't appropriate to say it feels like. But for those of you who have the skill and the land and the persistence and maybe even shade cloth, if you have a bounty in your garden this coming several months and you want to share it, please give the Gleaners office a call in Findlay, and we will somehow figure out how to share your bounty based upon the location of a distribution site somewhere in your neighborhood. That would be very welcome. Thank you.
I would like to just take a moment and wish a happy heavenly birthday to Gene Polino today. He was one of our founding fathers, and I think it would be appropriate to do a gavel whack.
Right on.
He was noted for his 3 minutes only. That was his, yes. So 3 minutes only with Gene.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
So you guys, shape up.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other public input off the agenda? You want to? Thank you. Tammy. Just state your name and where you're from.
Tammy Alexei, resident of Upper Lake. I just wanted to piggyback on the Gleaners comments. I haven't been very much involved, just a little bit of weeding, but they're trying to do another summer garden, community garden at the 2nd Street Old Feed Mill. So anybody that's interested, it's up there right on 2nd Street, and if you're interested to help, let me know and I'll get you in contact with the right people.
Tammy, who's heading that up? I just noticed that all the plantings are in.
Primary, it's Lori Gray from used to be the Lake County Hunger Task Force.
Okay, great.
Does anyone else have a public input before we move on? Okay, great. So our next agenda item is biochar update. So Barbara, come on up, and if you can share what happened yesterday. And if you have, I did watch it myself, and
Oh, you got something for us?
Yeah, I'm going to take a minute to pass these out because I think that this is
okay,
super
thank you.
important
Yep,
information.
yes.
And everybody, I would love for them to see. This is basically what I just wanted everyone to see this document that was obtained through a Public Records Act request from the State Department of Water Resources. Oh, is it on?
Is
I felt like I was yelling.
it should have the green light on. Is it on for you?
Yeah, there's a green light.
Just speak right. Yeah, you might have to get a little closer to it just to hear you properly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better,
good.
Barbara.
Okay.
Thanks.
So this document came from a Public Records Act request to the Department of Water Resources, it's California State Department of Water Resources. And it was a letter to the director of the water resources at Lake County named Pawan. And it was from the agent at the Department of Water Resources of California State. Thank you for the meeting with us Monday, June 2nd, to discuss a proposed biomass facility and related lease agreement with Scotts Valley Energy Corporation. As you know, Department of Water Resources reimbursed Lake County for the purchase of parcel APN 004-01004 under the Flood Corridor Program using low bond funds. The lease of this property to a private entity is likely not compatible with the bond source language and may create a tax issue. Department of Water Resources needs to coordinate with the State Controller's Office on this. Given the time of year, the fact that the SCO is focused on the fiscal year 26-27 budget, DWR will likely not receive clarification or direction from SCO until later in the summer. Per Lake County Board of Supervisors, it goes on to say, SCO will likely not provide clarification or direction until after this continuation date. DWR will require additional time to research this matter further. And so they did continue this matter until August 26th at 9:30. And
On Tuesday?
I
That's what
just-
they did on Tuesday?
pardon me?
That's what they did at the Board of Supervisors on Tuesday?
Yesterday, yeah. That's,
Okay, thank you.
so it's continued to August 26th.
Isn't that what's August? Is that a Tuesday? Oh, it is. Okay, I looked at my
I assume so.
I looked at my calendar. I thought, okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to make everyone aware of why they made that continuation to that date, and this likely might not even be resolved by then, because they're saying later in the summer, but that's as late as they would push it out. And any questions?
Yeah, I watched I watched it twice just to understand this dilemma here, because and I'm just trying to, it's later this summer, they're hoping the state will get back to them because of the time, However, when I read this, I'm going, why wasn't this presented to the Planning Commission? Why aren't they researching it?
Good question, because
Why wouldn't we
Bruno's,
I'm sorry, I just want to say one more
Yeah.
thing in defense, in my query is, the money you've spent, the money that everybody's spent on payroll and time and at the employee level, at the county level, your level personally, and your everyone. Frankly, this is I don't know how you put it. I don't want to say it's embarrassing, but it's quite concerning that the Planning Commission.
You mean in the whole process?
Yeah, I don't understand. Do we know why this wasn't understood by the Planning Commission at the beginning of the process of looking at this
I don't know,
project?
because Bruno said in the meeting that this question came up 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was wondering. That was going to be my question, if anyone knew the situation, because I watched it as well, and I've heard previous comments from Supervisor Bruno Sabatier. Yep. I will learn how to say his name, but where he indicated that this had been resolved in a previous incident 3 years ago, and from my understanding, is wondering why it's even coming back up.
With the state of California? you
No.
mean?
No, because this could have serious implications, not just for biochar, not just the 5 acres that's on, but every parcel that was purchased with this grant is now called into question. So this is a big find if it is, but from what I was interpreting from Bruno was that maybe something similar had come up and it was found to not be an issue 3 years ago, and so he's wondering why it's coming up again. That's the only thing that's why I was like, do we know what that issue was about?
I believe this came up 3 years ago.
Biochar?
Yes, because I've seen the funding documents for this project, and that started in 2022.
Oh, so you think he was possibly referencing the biochar being in a different area?
No, I think as soon as they were sued at Red Hills, about 6 months later, they started making plans to come
Up
here
here.
and move the whole thing here.
Okay, so he was possibly saying like it was nixed 3 years ago, so why is it back?
Well, no, the lease was actually, they started planning for it 3 years ago. Or it was like in 22, yeah, 3 years
Well,
ago.
The whole Scotts Valley thing started their inquiries like at least 3 years ago about the biochar.
They started applying to the EDA for funding.
Yeah, they've had the lease since 2022, I think is
But I
why.
mean,
3 years
like
ago.
all of this stuff should have been dealt
The
with in
lease
the
was
process.
only notarized last July.
And that was done by the DWR, right? Department of Water Resources? Who made the lease with them again?
The county,
Oh, the-
Bioshed Protection District.
No,
Watershed Protection
Yeah,
District.
watershed protection.
It's under Department of Water Resources? Yes?
Yes, it's
Okay.
actually the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, I'll have you come up in just a sec. Real quickly, I'm a little, is this the money that you're using to buy the Middle Creek area out to make it a wetlands?
Yes.
Okay. Julie, do you have a comment you want to make at the podium? Thank you. Thanks, Barbara. You can,
Okay.
if you want to come back up, you can. I just wanted to,
And I would just like to thank Barbara and her daughter Tara for
Yeah.
all this undercover work that they've been doing, because there are things that they're bringing up that are so appalling and just hard to really comprehend. So, hands off. And the information keeps coming, the violations and so forth.
Julie, if you can state your name.
Julia Carrera Perlake. I was at that meeting in 2022 when they initiated the
Excuse me,
lease.
Julia, what meeting was that specifically?
The Board of Supervisors meeting where they were acting as the Watershed Protection District Board and went into that lease agreement with Scotts Valley Tribe. I was at that Board of Supervisors meeting.
And you say that was in 2022?
Yeah, and it was shocking to me the amount of money that when I was at that Board of Supervisors meeting, I thought to myself, what's really going on here? Why would anybody lease prime ag land at that value for anything? You can get so much more. And my other thought was, this is funds from the State Water Resources Control Board, who I worked with for many years. And I didn't see how then that lease was going to fit into the grant, but I didn't have any information about the grant itself. So I interpreted Supervisor Sabatier's comments differently than you, Lisa. I watched him in that meeting, and he was concerned back then. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to make public comment about this? If you want to go to the podium, state your name. Thank you.
Hi, John Laboito. I think you have to look at the turnover in the leadership of the Water Resources Department. You know, since I've been here, like 5 different directors of water resources, and, you know, I don't know under whose tenure, thank you, this happened. And, you know, but there has been some really inexplainable, almost disastrous stuff that has occurred under the auspices of water resources. I mean, we all know about the aborted removal of the vineyard, and you know what a mess that has become, as well as other things that are going on having to do with the levees and stuff like that. And I think it has a lot to do with this lack of institutional memory that goes on through the, particularly in water resources, maybe even in the board of supervisors.
Thank you, John.
Would anybody else like to make another public comment?
Tom Lasik, just to echo what was just said, yeah, there's quite a bit of turnover that's happened in the Watershed Protection District. However, having dealt with a lot of appeals just in the last couple of years, I think we should all be concerned with the amount of time, money, and effort that's spent by not only the appellant but also the applicant, because generally speaking, a lot of these issues should have been caught a long time ago. They should never have even gotten to the point where it was in front of a planning commission. But the way the process is set up, and this is just my opinion, but it's based on things that we've uncovered over and over and over and over again. The process is broken. It needs, I think, community voice to encourage the county to revisit the process in its entirety to find out why these things keep happening. The biochar is not the first, and if we don't change things, it won't be the last. These are things that should have been caught, and they're not being caught. And the reasons are several, and there's no time to go into it. But we should be concerned because it is our taxpayers' money. There are people that apply for things and are told, yeah, no problem, it'll be fine, and they invest an enormous amount of money to try to get something done, only to find out that it should have never even started in the first place. And the county should have known, it should have said something. So everybody loses. So anyways, that's my comment. Thank you.
I just want to agree with Tom. One more thing I want to say is that this was written June 4th, and I am 100% sure the Board of Supervisors never would have seen this had it not been recovered through a public records request. The staff was not about to show this to the Board of Supervisors. I think they pick what information they're going to give the board and to serve their own agenda. So yeah, definitely the system needs help.
Well, thank you. Anyone else have public comment on this? For free? Anything on Zoom or any comments? Yeah, I don't know. I thought it sounds pretty good in here, but I imagine over the broadcasting. Okay, well, thank you, Barbara, for all the efforts that you're doing for the community. I've monitored all this closely, and a lot of us have on the council. And so August 26th, you're right, at 9:30 a.m. is the reconvene, and we'll see if they get that information they need to. I don't know if they'll have it in time or by that time, but hopefully they get it.
And we certainly want to fill the chamber.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. Our next on our agenda, Lisa, we got some really good news, right? I'm gonna let you take a, do you want to talk about the Grange update.
I sure can. So I am beyond excited to share that last Wednesday, we did successfully reorganize the Bachelor Valley Grange with 24 members. So this is really, really exciting. The Bachelor Valley Grange was originally founded in 1938. And so we are happily bringing that back. Next steps. We had 24 members, but we have even more people that are saying that they'd like to join or they want to join. We only needed 13. We did elect our officers. So,
Excuse me, Lisa, I'm sorry, John, is it John? John and Barbara, I need to have you, if you want to step out for a minute and discuss what's going on. We're just in the next agenda item.
We have a lot of echoes going on.
So I appreciate it. I know you, if you want to talk, you can if you want to step outside and come back. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Lisa, go ahead.
yep. So what our next steps are, July 14th is our next meeting, and then they will be the second Mondays at 6 p.m. We did choose 6 p.m. intentionally because we had heard from a lot of individuals who were interested that they could not make it because they were working maybe in Ukiah or a little bit further. So 6 p.m. is what we decided. Dues for this year are prorated, so there is yearly dues, and it's $37.50. I cannot remember the family dues at this moment, but you can hit me up and I'll get that information for you. What our next steps are is there's a grant application that's due June 30th that I will be writing to try and get some equipment and some cleaning and things done. So I'm having someone come out and give me a quote for like deep cleaning the tiles. I have some contractor friends that are going to come and just assess the building. I've been in contact with the county to talk about what we need to do to get the kitchen up and running. And so I plan to have all of that, or I hope to have all of that information ready by our July 14th meeting. So then our membership is able to prioritize what we'd like, with the goal of being able to rent this space for parties and things as early as end of July, August, and then even start planning our own fundraisers like the Grange Pancake Breakfast that were a big part of my childhood, trying to bring those back in community events. So that is where we're at now. You can reach out to me. Katie DeVries is the vice president. I was elected president. Katie DeVries is vice president. Daniela Santana is the lecturer, and then Casey Mahoney is our treasurer. Donna Manning is our secretary. Melanie Sneathen and Casey are on our executive committee. So we have a lot of really positive things happening, and I'm really, really excited to see how we could do it. James DeVries graciously showed up for us and installed the sign. So now when you drive down Government Street, you can see the beautiful redwood sign that declares that we are a reorganized Grange.
So Lisa, the next meeting is July 14th at 6 p.m.
Yes, at the Grange.
And then tell us about the Grange. What things do you want to see in the future doing? Tell us what do you want to see happening there?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things is the Grange has always been a pillar for our community here, where I know people who've had birthday parties, who've had wedding receptions, funeral receptions. That was always a space that community could use for that. So you don't have to go all the way to Lakeport or Ukiah, although now Nice has one too, with the event center. So we're bringing it local. In addition to that, when I was in FFA here at Upper Lake, we did a lot of activities at the Grange through the like the pancake breakfast. So we would offer community breakfast, would just bring the community together, but then also high schoolers would get volunteer hours and service hours to learn how to do things like that. And then things that the Upper Lake Community Council did, such as the Fall Festival and the December Light Parade, and those are things that we're going to bring through the Grange, which will give us a lot more cred, if that is a professional way of saying. We just need a space that it's a national organization. It's one of the oldest organizations. It was founded in the 1800s. So now we have a national system that supports us. We have a state system that supports us. And so they'll help us keep it running. But the big thing is, I want to get a dance. You know, I want a fall dance. Let's come. We want bingo nights. We just want things that, I'm a young adult in Upper Lake, and if I want to do anything after 6 o'clock, I have to drive, you know? And I would love to be able to, like, I'm just going to walk down to Government Street and hang out with my community there.
Awesome. Anybody else have any comments on the council here? Public input? Anything on Zoom? Great job. Okay, all right, congratulations. We look forward to the progress of seeing that happening. And I know a few years ago I was dealing with the Grange, trying to get someone involved with that, and I wasn't getting any feedback. And I'm so glad it's back up and running under your guidance and the leadership and the community again. It's exciting. Great news. We celebrate the great news and champion the great things, and we question and have concerns for the challenges, trying to create solutions for our supervisor and for our community to fix. Well, my big guest tonight was Glenn March, and I don't see him here. Now, let me say one thing before I saw him at the Lucerne meeting, not last time, but not in June, but in May. I think Julia. No, this was at Lucerne's Surf.
It was yeah.
I saw him at Earth. What's that? He did a tour. And so when I saw him in May, I had him book our June 18th meeting in front of me. I did send him an agenda today, an email, and I didn't see anything come back. So he was going to give a lot of great information, and I know some of you have seen him do the presentation a lot. So unfortunately, at this point, if he does come in, we'll love to have him have the conversation with us.
Could I say something?
Yes.
Could I say, I would have very much welcomed Mr. March to our meeting. Going back a little bit, I wanted to say that personally, the other day, I stopped at the stop sign at the corner of 2nd and Middle Creek, and clear down Middle Creek, and out of nowhere a car came speeding around, and had I not halted and stopped, and this is a real traffic hazard, and I really think that we need to move forward and try to do something about erecting a stop sign there. And kind of moving on a little bit, last month we corrected the title of Upper Lake School Safety Traffic. But anyway, I just want to say at this time that school is out. I did have a long conversation with the Sergeant Powell with the CHP. He was very receptive, and I kind of gave him a feel of what's going on in Upper Lake and what's going on at the schools and so forth. And I said, they're out now, but the classes will resume again August 6th. So it's an early restart. And, we really need to look at what can be done. And I know he's basically limited to doing drive-bys and so forth, but something has got to be done. And I also talked to him about, they did a traffic stop in front of the entry to the high school gymnasium there. And he said, well, we got a speeder off the road, we arrested him, impounded his car, and I said, well, that's a good start. So I'm hoping that they will be visible, and that he seemed very eager as far as wanting to be a part, because I also explained to him about Mendenhall and the racetrack that it's become. So I'm going to keep at it, and I'm going to make sure that each month I call at least once and try to enlist their presence. And that's why I was hoping that Mr. March would be here tonight, so we could talk further about the possibility of speed bumps or something to slow down the traffic on First and Second Street in Upper Lake, especially during school.
Do we know what happened to the ordinance that was written?
It was halted, it didn't.
Are we
move
talking about
forward.
the emergency
Yeah.
proclamation we were talking
Yeah.
about that Tom was helping with?
Yeah.
The emergency.
I thought it was sent,
Suggested emergency.
Yes, I do know what,
Yeah.
yeah.
I talked to Supervisor Crandall, or EJ. Is EJ on Zoom? Thomas, or you don't see that? And I did talk to him about this, and he mentioned, I wanted him to be here tonight to, talk about this directly. He did mention to me, and I don't want to, I'm trying to remember, he said there's several supervisors that have emergency issues, and I was hoping he sounds like it was in his plans to get together at some point, but I can't speak for him.
Okay.
And we're gonna have to press the issue to try to get this done, because Tom's come up with and Tom, you're gonna come up? Oh, I thought you were, so that's where it's at.
Okay.
Without the participants here right now, we don't have the direct feedback from them on that. Tom, you like to say something?
Yeah, Tom Lasik again. So, Mr. March has to follow a procedure. He's required before he makes any changes, and this is a generalization, that he needs to have a study done, and then it has to be approved and budgeted, and it has to go through what normally is a lengthy process. And he's not empowered to deviate from that on his own. However, there is the capability, in the case of emergencies and emergency declarations, that the Board of Supervisors can issue an emergency ordinance. It requires a 4/5 vote, and they're typically temporary with some sort of condition that allows it to sunset or to be retained. I've drafted one up for Upper Lake. I've drafted one up for Earth. I've drafted one up for Middletown. I have another one that I'm working on for District 4, which is Supervisor Rasmussen's area, because it is my view that it's a win-win-win, that you get the safety. Mr. March gets to focus on what he needs to focus the way he needs to focus on it. And the problem doesn't have to necessarily wait for that. That's the outline. So I have submitted one to Thomas as a proposal. I don't know how far that's gone, but I know that you have it. I have talked to other supervisors, and in the course of understanding what these issues are, for the most part, these are simple. They're, you can buy a completely, totally compliant stop sign for like under $100. A speed limit sign about $65-100. Paint for crosswalks or center line striping is not that expensive. When you start getting into widening roads and curve realignment, then you start talking into the numbers with lots of zeros at the end. But there's a lot of safety things that I personally feel can be resolved with just some of these simple things. But it does require the board to look at it and make a decision. Thank you.
I just had a couple thoughts came to my mind. Mr. March did put a little thought in my head, and I did go back to the board, and we bought stop signs, and we bought, left, yes, yeah. But we're on private property. That's the distinction between being able to post, right turn only, no left turn, and that sort of thing. And one other thing I really thought was quite important for all of us as citizens to hear is that during my conversation with Sergeant Powell, he said, "You're the only one that has called and voiced a complaint about the erratic speed in Upper Lake and the issues about the schools. So I urge every one of you to take the time. They've changed the phone number, and I should have brought it with me. It's 281 something. I kept calling the old number at the CHP headquarters. They have a new number, and he said, tell the citizens of Upper Lake to call and voice complaints or email them. Okay. So, there's going to be power in our response and to, point out problems that we're seeing of recklessness within our communities.
So you can post that on Upper Lake Connect.
I will do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, if he accepts emails as well, I'd gladly write up a template email that I can then send everyone, and everyone can just copy it and send it on their way. Because that is effective, I've seen it work, so I'm happy to do that, so then, we don't all have to write our own, although we can if we want. Because as you said, Ms. Claudine, this intersection is so dangerous, and now school is out, so the kids are in the streets, the 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds that are not paying attention because they're young and they've all learned traffic safety, but they're in the middle of the road because that's what's cool to do. So it's going to be a matter of time. In the last year, I know of 2 pretty bad accidents that have happened right there, and it's only a matter of time before someone dies, and it will most likely, unfortunately, be one of our vulnerable.
If I may, I think you brought up something that's important. There is a database, I think it's called TIMS/berkeley.org or berkeley.tims. Mr. March has referenced that in the past, and he has made a statement that it represents all the accidents that are reported in the state. It's a GIS type of thing. However, that is not correct. The TIMS database only records accidents that involve a fatality or a major injury. So in the accidents that you just referenced, even though they were major accidents, if nobody died, it probably wouldn't be in that database. And I bring it up because, one, Caltrans is not allowed to use that database when it comes to engineering and design, but Mr. March has mentioned that he does use it. My concern as just a regular citizen is that it underrepresents rural roads. It only represents things that, like I mentioned, reach a certain threshold of severity. It doesn't represent anything coming from the Sheriff's Department, only the CHP. And it's not it's not necessarily a minor deviation. So for example, there's a very controversial road in the Earth District called High Valley Road. The TIMS database showed only 3 incidents on there, including 1 fatality this year. But if you did a PRA request to the CHP, it would show over 30. So it's a 10-to-1 difference. So if you're trying to build a case, it would be really beneficial to get information from the Sheriff's Department and from the CHP and compile a list of incidents on that road. And if you can get a statement from the commander about their concern about it, that would also be helpful. That's just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you have a comment, Julia?
Well, I just want to make sure that this is public comment on this topic because, okay, good. I got about 6 calls about this item on the agenda. I was hoping the people would be here. They are not. But these are the questions that I brought that I was going to ask Mr. Marsh that I want to make sure are on the record. The first one is Mendenhall got restriped, and there are sections that are not restriped because there's vegetation in the way, and I was wondering why that happened. Number 2, they're closing the Upper Lake yard for Department of Transportation. It's a permanent yard. There will only be 2 yards left, one in Clear Lake and a temporary one in Kelseyville. I wanted to ask about that. And I don't remember the third question, but I do hope that you invite him again to come next month. I think that would be a very good idea. I'm not trying to take away from the public safety, but if they close, there is public safety involved in what I'm saying, because if they do indeed close that yard, which my understanding is they are, but I don't know that to be a fact, it'll take at least, if there's an emergency for a road situation, the closest yard will be Kelseyville, so people coming from Kelseyville here to deal with an emergency situation with our roads. I'm personally concerned about them closing the yard, so I'd like to get some answers about that. Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Was that stated somewhere? Well, you're leaving, but That's a concern because we're already, North Shore becomes the stepchild of the county, and we lose our, that upper yard. I've been to that yard. It's just right up the road here, and hopefully that's not true, but we'll have to send him an email and find out.
Yeah, I have some information on Glen March. I did have a conversation.
Can you state your name?
Juan Novoa.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Juan. Thanks.
So, last time I spoke with him, I'm not sure what his name was. He is correct on they have to do studies to do any changes to road. And he said he was hiring a traffic engineer that was going to be hired to the county, and I'm not sure if it happened yet or not, but he did say that, and probably hasn't happened. And as for closing that yard, that is a big issue for up here, because that's who cleans Blue Lakes Road during the winter, and they go through that once a week maybe during the winter time because of the rock slides. And yeah, I just wanted to say about the traffic engineer, if anybody didn't know about that.
Thanks, Juan. I just want to comment, if you go to the BOS coverage on PEG TV, you can, or Lake County Supervisors, Glenn March did have a presentation yesterday, and I was hoping to follow up with him on that, about grants he's getting for certain areas of the roadway work and so forth. We'll have to invite him back, but I'll send him an email and find out about the Upper Lake issue. And before I get to you, Tammy, emergency, what's it called again? Emergency? Yeah, I'll have to follow up with EJ on that, because that can be done at minimal cost, and we can get that safety issue resolved, so. Tammy, you want to state your name and?
Yeah, Tammy Alexei, Upper Lake resident. Just for the record, I also want it to be known that last year when Mr. Marsh was here, he took care of the bridge right away. But again, just this afternoon, my husband and I were going on First Street. There's a kid walking in the middle of the street because you can't walk where the blackberry bushes are. And then, just before I walked in here, I did a lap through town, and you can't see on the corners where they put the new, I love the stuff, but the bushes grow too high, you can't see. And the way people speed through town, I was crossing Main Street from First, or on First, and I had to stop and take a chill because the sky sped by. So just want it to be known that the vegetation needs to be looked at also.
And that was an issue that I think there was a decision to do something about it. We had talked about it before, that it was obscuring the stop sign, and I agree that the vegetation needs to be cut back and trimmed so there's more safety involved. Out here,
Yeah,
you're talking
and
about here.
right here on First Street at the bridge, it says bridge narrowing. You can't see that sign because it's completely covered.
Wow.
There is a fan in the creek also, which I know is not our point here, but I just think that's ironic, a fan in the bridge. And then I was going to say one more thing, and I just lost it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Cami, could you take a picture with your cell phone?
She's like,
Well,
done.
I was hopeful that you could forward that
To
to
Mr.
Thomas or to someone here on the board.
You can
Mr. Martin.
forward them to our Worth email. So we have it on here, don't we? We've got the photos that she wants. I think we have it on here.
And did we take a picture of Middle Creek? Did we take a photo of Middle Creek and First?
I have them.
Because that should be,
Yeah.
second,
Yeah.
If,
And it was a crash there within the last 2 months.
Yes, yeah.
if we want to take pictures of
They had to tow it.
problem areas, we should decide that someone goes out and does it and what pictures to take, rather than trying to get everybody willy-nilly to sort of bring in a picture or something. Sorry?
Yeah.
I think there's strength in numbers too. So if we post the email.
Or we could say literally, take pictures of this intersection or this stretch of the road, and if everybody brings in pictures that are related to the same areas, that would probably guarantee better coverage. So we want to encourage people to do that somehow, even if it's email or something. Or on Upper Lake Connect would be the big thing, I think. That's the easiest one to do.
Upper Lake Connect might bog everyone's feeds down.
Mike Ball,
feeds, like if we're trying to collect it for our database, we probably want to use our email, or there's a subject on our agenda that could address it too, when we get to that section, but we wouldn't want to post in Upper Lake Connect because that's how people post in Upper Lake Connect
Okay.
every 15 sequends.
So let's summarize this. I'll go ahead and, based on our comments, since Glenn's not here, would you like us to re-invite him to next month?
yes, please.
Secondary to that, Upper Lake Yard, I'll send an email out to Glenn to find out if that's true. And emergency ordinance, I'll push again to communicate to EJ about our advising him. That's what we do. We advise him on moving forward on that so we can get that done. Thanks to help with Tom, and thanks for all your work on putting that together in excellence. Tammy, if you want to send that to me at wrth.chairman@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, for that. Any comments on Zoom? Anything else, Thomas?
Chairman,
Okay.
I do have a thought.
Yeah.
Because we have consistently, at least 6 months, for some of us years, we have trouble getting public servants to attend our meetings even after they commit. And so I would like to recommend that we write a letter specific to that. It can be short, it can be poignant. I'm happy to volunteer my time writing it, and then we read it out in public input at the supervisors meeting that just says, we are your advisory committee. You created us. We are unable to advise when public servants do not provide information after they've committed to do so. So I would like to put that out because I think that's a problem that we keep having, and I'm happy to read it out of every public comment for every supervisor's meeting until it's fixed.
Thank you, Lisa, and I agree. I would like you to do that letter, and we are going to get to that topic in a minute about Board of Supervisors presentation. This has been a problem for me from the beginning, 3 months of this. I've been chair for 4 months, but it's been a struggle. And
For 5 years.
And I actually, like I said, with Mr. March, I was right at him, looking eyeball to eyeball and thinking he was putting it into his computer, and I didn't get anything. So,
We don't know
What-
what's happening.
but we don't know. Maybe there was an emergency or something. We don't know what's going on with that. But so.
I was thinking, I wonder if we could create a calendar and contact these heads of departments, put them down on that, and then send it to them. So they have a written,
Well, something has to happen differently, I agree, and some of the emails getting emails back from them are difficult. I just don't hear this from our board, I've heard it from other board members. It's not just
No.
us. It's been a struggle at Earth. I'm not sure with Central, I'm not sure how, I saw Glenn there, I saw Glenn at the other place, and he's been covering. I saw him yesterday on BOS, at least on video. But with Pawan last few months dealing with the levy system and trying to get some personal feedback, it's been a struggle. So we need to do something on this. And Lisa, if you want to put that together, we'll get to that subject matter in a minute. So, okay, so let's go to the next one. This is actually something that just came up recently, Canocti Trails. And the reason this came up is Holly from our council member from Eastern Region brought to my attention that our trail system over here, which is the Middle Creek area, which they plan on at some point flooding out and creating a filter system, I guess, to help with the lake conditions, but I don't know how long-term that's going to be, it was taken off a website called Canocti Trails, I think, which Supervisor Pyska put back up. And we looked at that, and it's a wonderful, I have put a letter out, and I can go over it with you. I don't want to take too long on this. It's just asking Lars Ewing, who I feel is supportive of putting this back as reopening Middle Creek nature area. And what I did Sunday is I went over there on a kayak with my son for Father's Day. It was absolutely beautiful on the slough. And I got out at the end of it and marched around with him, hiked around, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And the gravel road is in great condition, and I know the county's been buying up properties and they're still looking into that. But I think I would like to have a support to get this letter sent to Lars about putting it back on as an area for hiking. I think this is an area that could be a destination point.
Tell them what the website is, where these.
ConoctaiTrails.com, is that what it is? Yeah. Is it on there? Is it yeah, have Holly come up, or Holly talk, or can she talk on it, or? Hey, Holly. She's not able to, okay, while we're waiting for Holly, I just want to, I don't know, I have a letter in front of you, all the council members. It's just asking for Lars Ewing, Director of Public Services, to reopen the Middle Creek Nature Area. And the letter is, the Town Hall is a municipal advisory council appointed by Lake County Board of Supervisors. And it talks about the Worth region includes the communities where we're at. During the Lake County 2050 local plan meetings, the communities of Upper Lake Nice identified the Middle Creek Restoration Area as a place for trails and outdoor recreation. This is in alignment with the Lake County Vision 2028. It's come to our attention the Middle Creek Natural Area Trail located in the central area of MCRA, Middle Creek area, and open to the public in 2018 was recently shut down. Worth supports the creation of trails in the Middle Creek Restoration Area and the reopening of the Middle Creek Natural Area Trail to the public. We also support development of trails connecting Upper Lake to the Nice Lucerne Cutoff with ultimate connections to Nice and Lakeport. And now we know why future plans are to flood much of the MCRA area. When the levees are breached, the ability to use current roads for passive recreation would have major benefits to our communities and county. And it goes on from there to linking trails to downtown. But just being on it for what we did Sunday, me and my son Milo, we didn't do the whole trail system. And I've also been riding that on my bike. I've been riding it on the cutoff, or I ride it where the monument is for Bloody Island. And you go there, and it goes around in a horseshoe and comes out of Pomo Pumps. Now, some of the road's a little chopped up, but there is a gate, and then there's a gravel area. And I didn't ride that because I don't have gravel tires, but you have, though, Barbara, right? Hundreds of times. You're still doing it currently? Have you, well, can you come up to the mic and just tell us, when was the last time you rode that? Or,
like a week ago.
okay, yeah, just tell us about your experience. I just want to support that. I think we're missing out not having this.
It's the best bike ride ever. So you go to Bloody Island and go past it. There's a gate.
Right.
You can go right through the gate. You go just a short, straight dirt road, and it goes right to the levee. You can see the whole Rodman Slough. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can make a big loop and come all the way back to your car, or you can go the other way and come out in Upper Lake and go through town.
Right.
It's.
Did you have any dogs or anything chase you?
No,
Loose
no,
dogs?
I've literally done this for 50 years.
Okay, great. So Barbara.
And it's gorgeous. I recommend it to everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So our walk was gorgeous. I didn't see very little trash, and they even mowed it out there. And there's an old barn and something. I don't know if the county owns that now or what, but it's beautiful. Anyway, I'd like to see if I could get a motion from the council to send this letter to Lars to establish this back. So we have it.
I'll make a motion to send it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So I'll send that out, and thank you so much. I think it's a great thing for our North Shore. It's a great thing for the Upper Lake area and Nice. It's a great thing for the county to bring people back to our area and get them to enjoy our recreational. So thank you.
Thomas, where would these be available?
Those are given from Holly. And is Holly available, or is she not?
I'm just wondering about distributing.
So I did.
Now on the website they have it too.
They couldn't hear the meeting, so I did a fix so they could hear the meeting. And of course, by doing that, now they can't talk. So I have to switch back. I just love Zoom. I mean, we need to just go to Teams.
Well, thank you for that. Thanks for that.
AI has muted your conversation.
Yeah, right?
Okay, so any public comment on that? Or anybody would like to speak any more about the Canocti Trails? Or over here, I mean, the area? Yeah, over here at the, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I would recommend everybody, if you have a chance before it gets really high heat, that you get out in the morning and walk around. It's really pleasant.
Those would be great to distribute, these pamphlets that she's got.
Okay, the next thing we have is, I want to talk about, and we don't have to take long on this, but I want to talk about doing a website proposal. Or doing a website for Worth. Earth has one, they can post agendas and information that people can go to. So what does the council feel about creating a website?
The idea is okay. I mean, obviously, a website is always a good idea if you have something to post. We do have pages on Facebook, and I don't really know how useful Facebook is to the general population. But I don't know that a website is necessarily useful to the general population as well. Because how many people, really visit these sites? I don't know. But I mean, certainly having a website for the council. I mean, obviously there's a page in the county website, the county portal, that has sort of very limited information about the Western Region Town Hall. If we did, where would the website exist? Who would host the website?
Lisa, you want to comment on that, or you have a comment?
Yes.
Because she's very...
So there are multiple domains or platforms that we can use. It's actually really easy and simple. There's a lot of, now you have templates that as long as someone has a username and password.
The creation of the website is not a problem. I mean, I'm sure I myself have some experience, and I'm sure there's other people that do as well. But we basically want something that's free.
Correct, yeah. So and even if it's not free, there are, most of the time, what we need to pay for is the domain, and that's a nominal cost. And supervisor...
That could probably come out of the fees that the county has that pertain to our
Correct,
council.
yeah, Supervisor Crandall. And that's one of the things that I believe the Earth did use their funds for, was that. And so when we're coming to it, when we're thinking about the difference between having a website or like a Facebook page, because Facebook is absolutely critical for engagement purposes, especially in our community. We get a lot of high engagement on the Upper Lake Connect page. The difference would be having a website would allow us to create a repository of all of our previous meetings. It would allow us to have what is a MAC? What are we doing? It would allow for the calendar that Ms. Claudine mentioned. We could have that on there. We could have all the community events. We could create a general calendar. We could have all of our previous minutes so that if someone missed a meeting, we could link the PEG TV and of the supervisors. A website is low maintenance. I mean, someone needs to maintain it. But it is relatively low maintenance, but high value, particularly when you're trying to get folks who might not come to our meetings. Maybe they aren't sure, maybe they don't know what's going on. So now they have a place that just go here. Go to worth.com or worth.org, whatever domain that we purchase. And then it has like a wealth of information available. So I'm definitely a fan. I think there's a lot of value to it. I do have a lot of experience in developing and maintaining sites, so I'm happy to volunteer and even train if someone else is interested in managing it. I do think we need at least 2 people that know how, just in case someone goes away. But I think it would be very high value, and it would increase access to us. Even thinking about the survey that we have going that we'll talk about in a second, that could be on the website. We just talked about, where can people post pictures? That could be the website. We could have a link that says, if you want to report an issue in the Western Region Town Hall region that you'd like to see us talk about, you post it in the website, and it sends us an email, or it sends the chair an email that says, somebody has this concern, so that folks that can't make it to our meetings, or maybe you have a thought and you want to get it out, you can just send it there. They're really accessible via phone or computer. So I think there's nothing but value add for doing
How
it.
is that distinct from the Facebook pages that?
Speaking in the microphone, Kate.
How is this distinct from Facebook pages that Supervisor Crandall said that he's already set up for the 3 different town halls in his district?
Facebook is notoriously difficult to pass hand to hand. So we could set it up, unless we set it up as a business account, which I'm sure the county did not do. But it's notoriously difficult that if Thomas,
Or to get back to you specifically, yeah.
yeah, if Thomas decides, or he moves away or something, now someone else needs to come in, it's attached to Thomas's personal information, now we can't pass it down. The other difference is Facebook is extremely limited and acting as a repository. So if we wanted to have a link to all of our minutes or all of our agendas, Facebook does not allow us to do that. If we wanted to have a survey, we could post a link on the survey, but the results of the survey and attachments of the survey go somewhere else. We can create a website that it stays on the website. So websites have way more value as far as like information holding. The other thing is, if you post something on Facebook, unless you remember exactly what day you did, you have to scroll. You can't just search and say, oh, I remember that was the June 18th meeting. A website, you could create a search bar that you say June 18th, and a June 18th, everything regarding June 18th comes up. So the elements that you have as far as storing data, storing information, and searching data are significantly
Okay.
higher with a website.
Tim, what's your comment?
We should set up a committee to
You want to do
take this on.
do a subcommittee?
No, I don't know about that.
Well, that's what you mean, right?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a permanent subcommittee.
Well, a subcommittee doesn't have to last that, as long as it's fixed up, once it's, What other council members, and what's your thoughts on having one? And I'll go to public comments in just a moment. I know Zoom's next. Yeah, Zoom's next. I'll be right there. Any other comments that nay or yay, or?
I like the idea of the resourcefulness of it.
We need you in your microphones.
I like the idea of the resourcefulness of it, because I like being able to go to YouTube to refresh my recollections of various meetings that we've had, as well as the Board of Supervisors. So if that enhances retrieval of information and documentation, I really like that.
Other comments on the board, or on the council?
I agree with Kate.
Before I go to public or Zoom, are they commenting about this, or are they something else?
All inclusive, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll be right there.
Okay.
I think it's a win-win. I definitely need, we'll need, Lisa's expertise in this, and it sounds like it's teachable. And it was funny because I was, when I was somewhere, I was in Paso Robles, this is kind of straying away on this, but my friend Sarah, who's in marketing, was noticing at the tasting, I'm going to get to my point, is she was at the tasting rooms, and then you're signing up for your club membership, and they're all geared towards, they're always talking about in the wine industry, they're losing all the younger people, and you still fill out stuff, and she goes, why don't you have a QR code? Because that's what she does for a living, for waste management. She does stuff on Google and stuff, and said, well, we can even get a QR code for our website and have it here, and it's fairly easy. You hover it and take a picture and go to our website, you'll find out. Anyway, I think it's a win-win. So, Zoom?
Yes, we have a comment from Holly, and first we're going to start off with that their website is free. Their last meeting, they had nearly 50 people, and after they mailed the Community About the Earth and website, I'm guessing that's when they had the up to 50 people. She also stated that Supervisor Crandall set up the Earth Facebook page, and he adds an Earth member to help manage it, and she offered to help you guys with that as well.
Great. Tom?
Yeah, Tom Lasik, I just want to point out a couple things. Margot and I, we go to all these town hall meetings, advisory council meetings, and Earth is clearly leading the way as far as communications to their community. There's no question, and you can't over-communicate. We have an elderly population that can't make it to the meetings, so we have Zoom to help with that. Facebook, not everybody is on Facebook, and Facebook, you pointed out all the limitations of, Lisa pointed out all the limitations of Facebook. The web makes a lot of sense. It is, I'm sure, one of the several things Earth is doing to increase participation. I think it's a great model. I think the rest of the advisory councils, to the best of their ability, should try to do that. It's not complicated. It's not hard, as Holly's comments pointed out. It's free or nearly free. The tools are tend to be fairly user-friendly, and you can organize it. And I would suggest taking the time to take a look at what Earth has done. It's a great model. Thank you.
Hey, any other public comment?
I have one more thought.
Uh-huh.
When we're talking about building it or starting it too, because I definitely know from that we're a little gun shy on some things. I just want to, one option that we have is we can build it and it won't go live. So if it won't go live, so it won't be real. People can't go to it.
Oh, yeah.
So we could build
A
it,
test
and at the
site.
next meeting, we could pull it up on the screen and show what it looks like and show the functionality, and then decide, yes, we want this, and we would make it live. And then one of the things that a website is really good at is then at future months, we can report out how many people went to the website, where did they click, what are they looking at, how are we getting traffic?
Right. Okay, Zoom?
Offer, just so you all know, our assistant manager, Cheyenne Blue, does that. She builds websites, and exactly what you're talking about. She can also make it where your Facebook page also points to your website and vice versa. So everything, and then, like you said, and keep track of everything. If this is a service you guys are interested in, PEG TV, we do have a division that does that for you. She's currently building the senior center's website over in Clear Lake.
Cool. So do we want to do a subcommittee for this, for a short term, to get this established? And who would like to be on that with Lisa?
Do you want to ask Angela or Holly any questions? I've done a little fix here. I'm trying to see if they can speak.
I think we got it.
I just wanted to ask
Did they
her
have, oh, okay.
about the,
Hi, Holly.
ask Holly about the pamphlets. These are excellent.
Go ahead and ask her to speak.
Holly, can you hear me?
Yes, she can hear you.
Can you speak? Or I know you can speak, but can you speak, Holly? I don't hear anything. Okay, so let's do it. Do you want to do a subcommittee council on this with Lisa to establish who wants to be on it with her?
Do we
I
want
guess
to,
I'll be on as chairman.
I was going to say, do we want to be a subcommittee, or do we just want to mock it
How
up?
else would we do it?
Or we can just get together. Do we need a subcommittee on this?
Well, so the thing is, if it's us, we have to be mindful of how many of us meet, because then it triggers the Brown Act.
Yeah, so it's two of us.
Yeah.
But if we, unless there's, so my proposal is that if we make a motion that we're going to do it or not, and then I can mock it up and bring it to the next meeting. If we would, if the
Okay.
other way would be, if we want to discuss what would be on it and all that, that's when we would have a committee.
So we don't have to make a subcommittee.
Okay, let's do anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that Lisa can do her mock-up of the website.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Lisa. You'll have that ready for the next meeting.
Thank you, Lisa, for taking
Yes.
on something else.
I know, she loves
I don't
it.
know how to stop.
She loves that stuff. She has a passion for it. She loves it. She's Google.
Right.
Okay, moving on to
We want to find out.
Pamphlets, yeah.
District 3 combination meeting.
What about this
Oh,
Holly?
I don't know if Holly
We
can
didn't get any
speak.
info.
We'll get more. We'll find out.
She couldn't say.
Does she have more pamphlets that she can distribute, or I don't know, that's what they want to know about the Conocti
So what
Middle
did
Creek
you-
area?
What did you want to know?
I know they, yeah.
She
Yeah.
wants, we want,
Holly, do you have more of the pamphlets for Middle Creek nature area that you gave me? I think we can also, yeah.
Could type it, maybe?
Yeah, that's what, yeah, type it in the
Okay.
chat there, Holly, if you would, please.
So moving on to the survey that we've been doing for the District 3 combo meeting.
She said she can print them off and email them to you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Holly.
Going back now, the next agenda item is District 3 combo meeting that we're still discussing the survey. Are we ending the survey soon?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we probably want community input on. Just to give the community an update of where we're at, we have received 47 surveys, of which only 11 of them come from our Worth. Earth is killing it. They have the vast majority of surveys in. Of the 11, I can tell you the communities that we had were Bachelor Valley Blue Lakes, Nice, and Upper Lake. And 7 of them said they are interested in collaboration. 3 are undecided. 1 has no opinion. I would recommend, I think 11 is not a high representation of our community, and so I would recommend that we do some sort of community engagement to try and get that number higher before we make a decision on behalf of our community. I can say it's posted at the grocery store, it's posted at the Oddfellows, it's posted at Century Market, it's posted in Bachelor Valley or Witter Springs. So we are posting at places. There is a QR code, there is a link. I have been posting it on social media. So I have no idea, unless we start door knocking. I'm not sure what other things we could do, but
Lisa, do you have any of those posters with you to?
I do not, because
Okay.
Staples printed them for, they actually gave them to me for free, but I am happy to send it out. I can send the PDF version. It's also posted at the library, pretty sure. The library.
Just wanted to just post them at the post office in Nice as well.
One thing I think we can do is maybe if there's any community events that are coming up. I was thinking about the concerts in the park.
Have a table with the survey.
Yeah, I was thinking I go to the concerts in the park, and if I see an Upper Lake person, just hand them a little flyer. But
So we want to probably take longer on this?
I think so.
And give it more establishment. It's just and we got time, but I know we want to try to,
We want to try to push it along, because Earth, they got 50,
yeah.
almost 40.
Can we put it on Upper Lake Connect again and keep
Yep,
pressing?
I can post it very regularly.
Can-
Impressions?
Can we get hard copies of these surveys? Or do you have to do it online?
I can commit to getting hard copies and having my best friend have them at her store. I'll confirm with her and I'll send an email. But then if someone wants to pick up surveys, they can pick up the flyers from there.
Okay.
Otherwise, the best case scenario is I just forward the PDF and everyone prints them where they can. I don't have a
Well,
printer at my house.
I was
so.
going to offer them at the senior center, and many of the participants don't have computers, so
Okay.
if they had a hard copy, we could
Okay.
get them filled out.
Oh, you mean a hard copy of the survey itself?
Yes, uh-huh.
I can absolutely do that, and I'd be happy to input the information in.
Okay,
I'll get that ready for you.
Good, thank
Why
you.
don't you go ahead and email me or email the Worth again, a hard copy, and I'll get printed up, and I can
Okay.
help distribute those too in
Okay.
areas that don't have access to or.
That's a great
Want
idea.
to do it on a computer. Because we want to make sure everybody's input. Any public input from the crowd I hear about the D3 combo meeting survey?
Okay.
Thank you. We're moving on. So the BOS presentation is something we still want to talk about. We want to do a presentation at Worth at the Board of Supervisors in sometime in the near future. However, this presentation is going to be encompassing quite a bit of information, and we have to organize it correctly and properly. So therefore, as chair, I wanted to do this a month ago. I haven't, but I'm going to do is call a special meeting for this, just about this topic. And I want everyone here who's here now to come back, and we'll open that to the public, of course.
I believe you have to ask the supervisor to call a special.
Well, then I'll ask CJ to call a special meeting, and I've talked to Tony to get the hall, and probably it'll be a Wednesday again, not the same night, of course, we're doing our regular meeting, to talk about BOS. I want everyone involved who's on the subcommittees to come, of course, everyone here to talk about everything we've been talking about. And one of them, of course, will be the letter that Lisa's going to put together about the not having the response we need from our county leadership to come to these meetings and present their in person, at least to the Worth, a lot of the time. So I'll have that meeting put together soon, and I'll have it announced with an agenda, and so you'll able to come back in that meeting if you're available, hopefully. And we'll have to get together with Thomas to figure that one out, right?
What's that?
For a special meeting, another meeting.
Yeah, we'll just add it, as
Yeah.
long as it's not on, or you could do it on one of your regular meeting days if you want.
Well, we always have we have quite a bit of other stuff we're trying to do, get Glenn March back, and I'd rather have just a day, hour and a half of just talking about how we're going to do this, and I have to talk to EJ about what the calendar date might look like for that agenda.
So just so you guys know, it would be like towards, it would be like one of the last weeks of the month is all of the other, the first 3 weeks of,
So that would,
are all meetings.
so at the end of the month would be best.
Yes, correct.
All right, so that'll be doing that in the near future. So let me work on that, and you'll see that announced. So hopefully everybody can come for those, so we can get this put together and thought out. Thank you. Any public input on that? Thank you. Anything else?
You're welcome.
You're welcome, yeah. Okay, subcommittee Pile Road. We got some good stuff on this. Some exciting stuff. We champion the good stuff.
Okay, I'm Dave Hendrick. I'm co-chair of the Pile Road Pile Subcommittee. I'd like to thank the county for doing such a great job of cleanup. They cleaned up approximately 35 of the sites on the Pile Road and vicinity, most of the big ones, and it took them about a week and a half. I have no idea how much money they spent, but I saw Logan and Joey and the contractors out there working really hard. They cleaned up all the vehicles. I don't think there's a single vehicle left up there. So that's a lot of stuff that they got cleaned up. So, and let's see, there's a new guy living on Dallas Street, but Logan has been working on him. He had a trailer in there, and Logan got him to haul that trailer out, and now he's back in there living with a tent. Logan told me today that he doesn't have the gas money to get the rest of the stuff out. So it's just something else. Yeah, they cleaned up 99% of the stuff. There's a lot of little things, and we might go up and just take a garbage bag and clean up what's left. This afternoon, Logan called me up, and he found a stolen vehicle up in on Morton Street at one of the notorious sites, and I heard from Marcus this month that this Tuesday, this week, the warrant was going in front of a judge for Cody's cleanup. And so that issue, we're not sure how long it's going to take after the warrant is issued, but I asked Logan today, and Logan said that there's a bunch of details that they're trying to include in this warrant so that it won't be an ongoing problem. He'll just move from that place to someplace else, and then they have to deal with it all over again right from the start. With most of it cleaned up at this point, I think our future is just looking at preventative things we can do. The county put up cameras, and I put up a camera, and they were all stolen. So that's not going to work, but not unless you really figure out a way to keep them up there. But we have to figure out some way to keep this from happening. We can't put up gates, so that's not really a believable issue. So I don't know what we can do, but the committee will continue to work on this and see what we can do for prevention in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So we're, yeah, the goodness of, well, we'll always present anything, you know, all positive aspects of outcomes. That's what we're looking for, outcomes and deliverables or whatever you want to use. So that's great. So we've already covered the traffic. You're okay if we?
Just to say that we have an enrollment of over 935 students at Upper Lake Unified School District. So we're growing in numbers. They are working on a project just in back of the new addition for the kindergarten. So expanding and just hoping that we can be prepared for the upcoming school year and keep safety in mind.
I'm still perplexed by the superintendent not engaging himself more in this active issue of safety.
Well,
I know you.
It's
you've tried.
every meeting. I'm there talking about it.
I understand you're active on that. I just don't. It worries me when someone in that stature and that leadership role doesn't think the same emergency status or safety should be happening. But I don't know what his thought process is, because, but it concerns me. But next up, would you like to report on Upper Lake levies? Thanks, Julia.
Julia Carrera, Upper Lake Levy Subcommittee Chair, and one of our members is here tonight, John. Walt's not here today. At any rate, they're mowing with the masticator. I wish they were taking out vegetation in the channels with the masticator, but they are mowing with the masticator. You've probably seen them out there. That's the only work we've seen being done. And our committee's waiting on the response from the letter that you sent to the board. I assume you haven't gotten a response. And there's really nothing else to report, John.
Taking that letter with us in the BOS, when we have the BOS presentation, that'll be discussed at our meeting here, and then we'll...
I did, at the Board of Supervisors meeting, I wasn't there yesterday, but the week before, no, 2 weeks before, Pawan and Levy Lisa Linda were there, and as I passed by, I said, "Hi, is the grant still in place for the Caltrans mitigation project for Blue Lakes?" And they said yes, and I said it would be nice to tell the community that, because some people are concerned that maybe it isn't, particularly since that other grant that you're over on the other side of the lake where they have the flooding where your friend is.
Call Creek.
Thank you.
Which they're having a meeting on soon, I guess.
I understand that grant was lost. So I didn't get a response, but that's where we're at from the committee perspective, other than there is more gravel in the levee than there ever has been. At the
in the channel.
In the channel. We got a larger amount of gravel this year than I've ever seen. And to give you an idea of that, for those of you that know, in the confluence between the Middle Creek and the
diversion
over there where the check dam is with the boulders, those boulders, some of them have been moved, and there always was a deep swimming hole there. It's filled up with gravel, and there's no swimming hole left. So I don't know what to say other than, yeah.
Yeah. I told Julia, I called Linda last week and asked her about the Clover Creek diversion, if it's still going on. I asked her, is it offline? And she goes, not offline. No, we're still doing it. I'm just helping, I'm working with Pawan, and I mentioned Chris, but so have we seen any work done over there, guys?
No.
Is there anybody, crews or anybody in that channel?
Nope,
Okay.
there's just mowing.
Okay.
The only other thing they did was put the gravel on the roads, and that was,
Yeah,
what, 6 months ago, 8 months ago?
Right.
Those are the only two things. Oh, and there was some mastication that took place on the channel back when they were supposedly supposed to burn. And so there's some, I think, 3 sections that they have cleared out, but it's already growing back. So I don't know.
I understand.
I wish I could give you more information, and I wish they were doing something. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Julia. Any other public comments? Oh. John, you want to?
Julia, were you referring to mowing of the grass on the levees? Okay, the machines that I saw working out there, that's not a masticator, as I understand it. You know, it's a rotary mower mounted on the front of a skid steer. And then they have another one, which is also a rotary mower. It's just for mowing grass.
I was told by the ex-Public Works Director that it was the masticator.
Okay, well,
The supervisor.
yeah, okay, I'm out there most every day. I've never seen a masticator. A masticator has a big revolving drum on the front of it that chews up all kinds of vegetation.
She told me she was going to have it on the north end of the. Now
Pardon me?
that equipment you saw, I think I saw the same equipment over on Middle Creek area. It's a mower. It's a mower with a big front piece that has the blades under it. Yep. They're doing that next to the slough.
Yeah, that's a rotary mower.
Okay.
Masticator.
Not a huh? Okay. Well, let me.
Go blind.
All right. So from my perspective, yeah, there's two. Yeah, from my perspective, the mowing of the levees is stalled out again. There's still a lot of tall, dry grass. I mean, maybe it'd be a good thing if it burned, but in any case, somewhere in the transition of directors of water resources, a decision was made that water resources should own and operate their own machines. And they have this skid steer and they have this other little low profile thing. And they really aren't adequate for the job. They don't cover the ground fast enough, they're too small. And within the last 5 or 6 years, the county had a contractor they hired. He came in with 2 really big mowers, and they completed the mowing of all the levees from Highway 20 all the way over to Clover Creek in 2 days. 2 days. It was all done. And that's the kind of institutional knowledge that's been lost. And not only did they mow the whole thing, but their guys had enough time to go into those spots, where you can't get in with the mower, and they would around the gates and stuff and mow with the weed eaters. They did an absolutely complete job, and they mowed it very short, mowed the grass very short, and that allowed water resources, if the grass is mowed really short, that allows water resources to see where the ground squirrels are burrowing into the levees, which these machines don't do that. They still leave the grass 6 to 8 inches tall, and it grows back and everything. So it's, I think, the Watershed Conservation District is the Board of Supervisors, but the Board of I think that it's kind of like an orphan of the Board of Supervisors. They're not really, they're focused on all their other business. They don't really pay that much attention to what's going on in the Watershed Conservation District, and they depend on as a director of Watershed Conservation District to oversee it for them. And we've had 5 different directors in 10 years or something like that. I made this point before. And there's just, I've been trying to have a conversation with Linda, because I know, I believe that Linda is really dedicated, really wants to do a good job, you know, and I think maybe since Angela left the department, she may be getting double duty at the office or something like that. She told me that she's out on the levees 2 days a week now, and I tried to arrange, well, give me a call when you're out on the levee, and there's 3 or 4 things I'd like to point out to you. Well, it didn't happen. I guess I just have to be more persistent. But, there's a lot of these practical things out there that you gotta remember to do. And, it's, maybe 3-4 years ago, we nearly had a flood in town at Christmas time because they forgot to grease the wheels of the gates. And what happens, of course, is these things are made out of iron, and they're in the direct sun, and the grease volatilizes, and all the liquid fraction goes out of it, and it turns into this cakey stuff, and it jams the wheel. And then all of a sudden, the gate don't work. And, it all goes kind of, into the ozone area. Anyway, I guess I'm going to keep trying to have a talk with Linda, but somehow, there has to be some institutional memory here about how to go about these things and get them done in an efficient manner.
Thank you. I agree. Yep. Like a checklist. Grease the wheels.
Anybody can do it.
Our date, you have like a maintenance list, and you just go down the list and normal things. Okay, let's go to announcements. Anybody makes an announcement? Oh, Margot. Okay. Santa Claus. Ooh, he's right on. Christmas. All right. Right on. She's getting suited up.
It's like, let me get into character.
Ho, 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 Worth. Have you been good?
No.
'Tis a season to get disaster preparedness ready. There are 2 brochures here available from the state of California and the Scotts Valley Band of Pomo Indians Disaster Services. These brochures are on the back table here, and they help you get ready for disasters. As you know, it's high season for fire. This yellow booklet is first aid kit for your mind. Stress management before and after the disaster. So let's keep cool and let's get ready. Thank you.
Well done.
All right, any other announcements?
I'll just make a quick one. As far as Upper Lake Senior Center, we have yoga, gentle seated yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11. And we are going to, art class will be held on the 26th. So we have an instructor, and anybody who feels so inclined and creative, come and join us. That will be following the yoga class at 12 noon. And we're going to have a luncheon on the 25th, Wednesday, at 12 noon. So everybody's invited to that for a pizza party. So.
Pizza! Any other announcements?
I texted Supervisor Crandall to ask a couple community members, asked if we had the dump days for Upper Lake, and he said that if we propose dates, he will coordinate them. So if we wanted to identify a couple of dates, I'm thinking let's just give them every Saturday except for the first Saturday of July.
Do we have a place yet where that's going to be at?
I think that's what I'm saying, except that one. I believe the last time we talked, it was we had talked about the county park, but then there was concerns about the gravel.
Right. I thought he was waiting on funding.
No, my understanding is he's going to use his discretionary fund.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So County Park?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
He just said give him a couple dates and he'll coordinate it.
Awesome. And I'll bring my stuff over again. I hit all of them. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm sorry, was there another announcement? Okay. Gleaners tomorrow. Yeah, we announced that earlier. Gleaners tomorrow morning.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.